Brawl Stars is going to be getting a new trophy system, new matchmaking, and some new features as well in the next update. And while we don't know everything about it yet, I'm going to break down what we do know and how that's going to look. As well as I'm going to be going over all the other info that was shared in the Time to Explain podcast, such as the future of buffies, if masteries are coming back, the mapmaker overhaul, and if that's going to happen, and more. So if you don't want to spend nearly 3 hours watching that, then I got you covered right here. First off, let's talk about the biggest news that we learned during the podcast, and that's that in the next update, we are going to be seeing some massive changes to the trophy system in Brawl Stars. There were a few places where they talked about this. First off, they gave us this picture without too much context. Now, this was supposed to be the only sneak peek, but they ended up talking about even more. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. Prestige is already in the game, but this is different. This graphic doesn't say Crow got a prestige. It says Crow was prestige, and it has a 1 underneath this cool graphic. Now, if it has a 1, then you can only assume that there's going to be a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and so on. Additionally, in this podcast, they talked about their pin artist, TrueGamer007, and that he designed these cool neon pins that will go with this feature. Now, he designed these way back in 2021. I guess he was looking for a way to get him in the game, and this is how. Let me interject this real quick. You guys know that I'm an official Supercell creator, and as such, from time to time, I get early information. To be perfectly transparent, I already know everything about this new system, about all the other sneak peeks as well that they shared, but I can't divulge any of it yet. So for this video, I'm only going to share the things that they talked about in the podcast, or things that we can kind of put together from the podcast so that you can connect the dots yourself, all without breaking my NDA to Supercell. Now, they hinted about this change again later in the podcast when Spin asked if they were planning on bringing something to the game to engage the hardcore players and give them something more exciting to grind for. And they just said,
look out for next update.
Woo!
Okay.
They didn't specifically say that it was this trophy change, but we're going to surmise that that is the thing, since usually they have one big thing per update, and this seems to be the one big thing. They also said that there are some big matchmaking improvements that are going to be coming into this next update as well. I'm going to assume that if you're going to be reworking the trophy system, you might as well rework the matchmaking while you're at it. So, trophy system rework, new visuals, new matchmaking, something to grind for serious players, and this prestige system. What does all that add up to? Well, I already know, but you can try to put it all together for yourself and let me know in the comments down below what you think. Now, I will bring you all the update information the second we're allowed to share it, so if you want all the info as soon as possible, be sure to subscribe. But the sneak peeks did not stop there. In fact, they teased yet another new thing that they called a juiced up version of Sugar Rush. If you're unaware of what that is, it came in during the Halloween update where if you press a button for the next 15 minutes, you got extra candy for that event. Well, they said that this would be like that, but instead you would earn power points or coins, which kind of sounds pretty self-explanatory. You press the button, you play some games, you earn some extra power points or coins. Cool. Aside from those things, they did address some hot button topics in the community to try to give some answers. Now, the very first question, they actually spent 40 minutes talking about buffies. Now, the question pressed them on the cost of them, and to that, they said, and I'm paraphrasing here, the overall community sentiment towards buffies has been fairly negative. Now, they said that that was probably to be expected. Most people are pretty resistant to change, and they did just add a huge cost to Brawl Stars. However, they said that there is a clear distinction between the sentiment on how the game is doing and how well it's actually doing, and that their data does not fully support the negativity that a lot of people are seeing. And to prove that, they showed some graphs where it showed that average weekly playtime is way up since buffies came out. Retention is also up as well, simply meaning that people who log in and play keep logging in again to play the next day. As well as is churn, which is just the amount of players that is quitting. That is decreasing. So playtime up, player retention up, and players quitting is down, which are all good metrics for the game. So then, to them, seeing this tells them that the concept of buffies is good and that the game is headed in the right direction.
Directionally, buffies is good, actually. Now, that being said, there's a lot of areas that we still want to improve on, and we're going to be deep diving into that.
As for the cost, the basic premise of the answer is that since they're going to be making buffies for the next few years as they roll them out slowly, they had to think of a price that would work long term and not just right here and now.
Coin income graph. So how many coins we give you, and it's just a trend, right? So you can see that in the last few months, you've been getting quite a lot more coins. And if we go to the next one, you can see the same trend with power points. Buffies cost more basically so we can give you more. It's actually kind of that simple. And when we do buff the economy, then everything feels better.
Then they were pressed on why make buffies a random draw out of a claw machine? Why not just let us choose what we want? And to that, they feel like this choice makes the game more interesting, meaning that you might get to play some other brawlers that you wouldn't normally choose to. Say, if you got like 3 buffies for Spike and you don't really like playing Spike, you're like, well, got 3 buffies for him, I might as well give him a shot. And then you find out, hey, you know what? I really do like Spike. He's pretty good. So that's one reason why they chose to do it this way with the claw machine and the randomness. But they said that they are planning on some changes. First off, moving forward, every first Buffy from a new claw machine will always be free. Just like they were in this first one, the next Buffy machines that come out, which will have new sets of brawlers, the first one you draw will always be free. Secondly, they're going to be running reoccurring 79 gem offers on Buffies. They didn't say how often or which ones would be available. They just said that this is an offer that they would be handing out, which will be a very, very good deal. And then they said that each season there's going to be a mega quest that will reward a random Buffy, which all of those are good things. Now, I still think they're too expensive, but clearly this is the direction they are going with, and at least in that, there is some improvement. Now, the next big topic that has been highly contended for a while now is records and masteries. They talked about how they felt about records, and frankly, the team is not happy with them.
I'm not happy where we are with records, but I'm confident that we will have a good solution for that.
Looking back, they said that when they released masteries for the first time, they actually saw players decline in their playtime. And when they re-released records, it declined there as well. So to them, neither system is great.
We're still in the reflection period about like how we move forward best in this area, and whatever we do would be something new.
Then they talked about events, and that whenever they do an event on their end, if they're putting in extra resources into the economy, what they want to see in return is more players and more play time.
But the masteries, it was like the one that we gave the most resources ever.
Yeah.
And it was the one that least brought people back.
Yeah, I think we were still declining like during the community event.
Yeah.
To them, this further proves that masteries were not a good system. And they even said that masteries buffed, times 10, like we got at the very end of the thing, was still not good enough. So moving forward past masteries and even records, they said whatever they do next will be something entirely new. And by saying that twice, that tells me that, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I don't think I am, that records are pretty much dead in the water. Like, they're not going to spend any more time developing them, and they're just going to leave them as they are now until the next thing comes along that they're going to make, which will be, again, something completely different. But it is very, very clear that how they were talking, masteries are not coming back. So if you were hoping to get them back one day, yeah, just let it go, man. Pick a new fight because this one is done. The next thing they talked about was Mega Pig, and that it's actually performed and engaged more players than the old Club League, which is good. But they're also discussing what they should do about it because they're not completely satisfied with Mega Pig either.
We're basically agreeing with Mega Pig is not as novel as it should be right now. And we want to make sure that the rewards that we intend for clubs are enjoyed by as many people as possible.
A decent amount of people actually do engage with it, but the rewards are less than stellar, and the system itself is not that interesting. That being said, they don't have any plans right now, or at least any concrete ways to change Mega Pig. It seems like most of their energy for this next update has went into the new trophy system, whatever that is. I can't tell you anything, okay? But I'm excited. I'm excited for it. The next topic they talked about were balance changes and how it seems to take too long for overpowered brawlers to get balanced. Adrian, the guy who's in charge of balancing, said that yes, he recognizes that has been lacking. Mainly that there is no set cadence on when balance changes come. And this is something that they want to work on changing in the future so that players know when balance changes are coming and that it's done on a more of a schedule. However, if something is like completely broken, of course they said that they're going to want to address that right away.
If we have something that's completely busted or something that's breaking the game, we will try to address that ASAP. We're not going to adhere to that schedule.
Say like a monthly schedule of balance changes, it would really help keep the game fresh and keep the meta from being ran over by just a few brawlers. As long as they're really quick to address the bigger problems faster, then I think this is great. Like if it's halfway through the month, you're like, bro, I don't like this set of balance changes. It's all run over by tanks. Well, then you know that next balance changes, maybe it's going to completely switch up and you're not just waiting forever. You know when they're going to be coming. And that's pretty cool. Okay, so now on to something that I have wanted for years now. and that is a map maker overhaul. This is something that they've mentioned for a couple of years on the roadmap that this is coming, but they've never actually got around to doing it. They did talk about this for a while, but here's the gist of it. They still want to overhaul it. They just don't have like the perfect idea of how they want to execute it. Map maker is something that the team feels like it's something that's really cool and something they want to do, but that feature itself is not going to bring in any new players, as well as it's not going to stop like a decline of that the game is in, which it has been for a while. So it has not been a priority for them to focus their attention on map maker when there are vastly more pressing things that need to be fixed in the game before they take a look at that. So all that to say, a map maker rework is not coming anytime soon. Now, they also mentioned many times through the podcast that they love the Upside Down Showdown mode that they brought out with the Stranger Things update, and they plan on bringing this mode back in some way. Obviously, it can't be Stranger Things itself, but the core of that mode, they definitely want to bring back, which I'm excited for because I love that. So the next question was,
Who peed in the pool?
someone I guess really wants to know who peed in the pool. So Adam, the guy who has a pee fetish.
There was too much pee.
I'm kidding. He made that joke himself. He is the guy in charge of a lot of the stories that are in Brawl Stars, and he came on the update to show a final video to give closure to the whole who peed in the pool thing. So if you're wondering, here's how it all worked out.
Huh? Whoa! I can't believe it was Mandy? Huh? What the?
They ended up never actually posting this animation because other things were happening in Brawl, and this had kind of been stretching out for a while, and they felt like they just kind of missed the moment.
This is the dude with the pee fetish or whatever, and I was like, oh, now they've got my face. Like, it should be blurred out, but
more interestingly, Adam here is the voice of Trunk in the game.
Total Trunk Takeover Time!
I mean, they pitched up his voice like 10,000%, but yeah, that's him. This is the voice of Trunk. Hey, Adam, you want to come on the channel and do some voice lines? I won't make the pee fetish joke anymore, except for one more time. So you want to come on and do some voice lines? So anyways, yeah, Adam has done some really cool things, like the Katana Kingdom manga. That was all Adam stuff too, which is really freaking cool. So we look forward to seeing some really neat stuff from Adam in the future.
What the hell?
Then there were some other notes and tidbits that I picked up on. Like, they said that they're open to the idea of giving resource keys as rewards, but if they did, it would be far and few between because they don't want to dilute the value of the Brawl Pass itself, but it's not out of the question. Oh, this one's pretty cool. They said that they're working hard to reduce the stress on weaker phones and improve the FPS on them. So they think that by maybe late summer that they should have made some changes that will allow like people with older or weaker phones that will be able to play the game and have less stress on their device, and the FPS will be better on that while doing it. So that's really cool. If you got an older phone and you're like, bro, Brawl plays so laggy, maybe by the end of the summer, we'll get a fix for that. A not so great topic, but one that is definitely prevalent if you play ranked, is that yes, they realize that there are quite a few people right now that are using hacks to cheat in rank with aimbot and move bots with usually they play B. Anyways, like all the people topped in ranked right now, they're cheaters. They're just cheaters. They're trying to get people to pay them money to push their accounts. It's really dumb. You'll get banned. Don't try any crap like this. Anyways, they're aware of them, and they've got a plan for them, so we probably won't see them around much longer after pretty soon. At least I'm hoping pretty soon. Now, they've also played around with the possibility of adding a button or a system in-game where, during matches, you could alert your teammates of something like when you needed help or you're telling people to push up or fall back. They actually like this idea, and they've thought about it and even tested some concepts, but for right now, it's not a priority at the moment, but it is something that they would like to explore in the future should they have enough time to do so. Then there was a question about voice chat in the game, built into the game. The basic answer was that it would open up to some huge security risks, and if they ever did get to the point where they wanted to add it, there would have to be a ton done before, just to make sure that Brawl is a safe place for everyone to play. And probably we won't ever make it because we don't want to end up like Roblox chat.
Yeah, that was cap. He was actually talking to a 30-year-old man playing Roblox.
So those are the bigger topics that they covered. And of course, they go into way more detail, but they mainly expand on their rationale for their decisions and what they were thinking. So I actually enjoyed listening to it. So if you do like that sort of thing, then go check out the whole, almost 3-hour podcast. It's pretty cool. Hope you enjoyed it. And I explained it to you in way less time than the time to explain, because I value your time and I explained it to you just in that amount of time.